So this man stepped forward, and this man gives me like detective vibes. And when I say he gives me detective vibes, you know how in every cartoon they have that one episode where everything's in black and white and they talk really slow?
There's been a murder. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Here, see? Sorry.
Exactly. That's what he gave me when he walked in, everything in black and white, and he's like, I'll tell you everything you need to know.
You ready?
Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm Ed. Hi.
I'm choking out my own spit. Hang on. Okay. You're supposed to put your hands up.
I know, that's such a child thing to do.
I am a child. We just talked about my hair being floofy because I brushed it. Are you kidding me?
Hi, I'm Em.
And I'm Liv, and we're your meta PsycKicks. Today, we're going to be talking about the Amityville Horror House.
So, we are psychic mediums. Liv did the research on the house, and I know absolutely nothing about the Amityville Horror House other than it's a house and there was a murder of some sort, just because Liv was like, we're going to do a crime section and then we're going to do a part 2 about the paranormal stuff. So, the first thing that happened for me is yesterday Liv was telling me that we're going to do this in 2 parts and that there was a true crime section. So immediately I was like, that's a lot of pressure. I can talk to demons, but I can't talk to human souls. So I don't know how I'm gonna get information. So this man stepped forward, and this man gives me like detective vibes. And when I say he gives me detective vibes, you know how in every cartoon they have that one episode where everything's in black and white and they talk really slow?
And that's how it began. My life smashed to bits. My living room covered in broken dreams. Without my clarinet, the world was a drab and colorless place. And that's when I saw him, my first suspect.
There's been a murder. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Here, see? Sorry.
Exactly. That's what he gave me when he walked in, everything in black and white, and he's like, I'll tell you everything you need to know. So, he is in a brown suit, and he has a brown hat and a briefcase, and he is the one telling me about the people in the house.
Do you know what his name is?
I have no idea how to get names.
Could he give you initials?
I do not know his name. Why, you saw a detective or you found a detective?
Dude, and I almost your pants because she told me that she was talking to a detective before I knew that there was a detective. I was like, well, because she told me in the car yesterday when we were going to one of our readings, but when she said, there's like this weird detective man that's been talking to me and he like does this thing with his hat and yada yada yada. I was like, well, it's not far-fetched to think that in a murder case there would be detectives, but literally when I was researching things this morning at 5:00 a.m., I came across one specific distinctive detective and I was like, no!
Yeah, that's him.
It's really funny. Continue.
Yeah, so he's telling me things about the case.
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing about the murderer case, so this might all be wrong. But I'm gonna tell you anyways. I feel like there were 3 people that died in the house, and I feel like they were all girls for some reason.
Keep going.
And I feel like they were done by a gun, because I can hear gunshots in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked you what the house looks like, because I feel like it's like one of those old houses where you walk in and the staircase is there, and then you go up the staircase and the staircase goes up and then to the right, and then there's like rooms there, because I feel like one of them was killed in a bedroom and then maybe one was killed on the stairs, but I don't know where the third one was.
You're blowing my mind. Keep going.
Yeah, it like goes behind a wall, I feel like. But I'm not entirely sure. That's just what I see.
How many floors is the house? Do you know?
This detective man is telling me it's like the Lizzie Borden house where they split the lower level and then the upper levels were for the other people. So it's gonna be more than 2 levels.
It is a 3-level house.
Yeah.
So
Just
when you...
like the Lizzie Borden house. Yeah, because I feel like paranormal stuff happens on the stairs.
I've used multiple sources on the interweb to find this information, so none of it is mine. You're welcome. Okay! Built in 1927 and purchased by the DeFeo family and bought in 1965 by them. This is the Amityville house. So, The DeFeo family called the house their home for 9 years. 9 years! And on November 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr., aka Butch, because while I was doing this, I didn't want to call him Butch because I thought that was non-tasteful in the manner in which he ended up eradicating his family. So I was going to call him Junior, and they were like, he doesn't like to be called Junior. That's literally why he went by Butch. Don't do that. And I was like, I'm just going to pretend this isn't happening. So, on November 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered the 6 members of his family in their own home, and he was convicted of second-degree murder in 1975 and sentenced to 6 sentences consecutively of 25 years to life. He died in prison on March 2021 at the age of 69. Using a 35mm Marlin rifle, the 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered his entire family while they slept. His family included his parents, which were Ronald DeFeo Sr., age 43, and Louise DeFeo, and she had a maiden name too that started with a B, and I'll get to it later because it's important. She was 42 years old. His 4 siblings that were killed included Dawn, who was his sister of 18, Allison, his sister of 13, and then his 2 younger brothers, Mark, age 11, and John, age 9.
So there's this man that's over here he seems very skilled in killing people. I feel like he might be like an assassin. He is tall, slender. He has dark brown hair, and I think he has like a mustache. He's got a large nose. Because they're showing me Nigel from Wild Thornberrys. And this man keeps playing the fucking Zelda sound of you figured out the puzzle. But his hair is like slicked over to one side. And it's like gelled.
I'm trying to look up the other person that you might be seeing, because I don't know for sure if it's the one person, because you're saying their hair is slicked to the side, almost like it's like, does it look like there's product in it, or if their hair is just like shiny and greasy?
It's kind of gelled. He's like, my hair would never be greasy. He's like one of those people that are like upper class.
What kind of ethnicity do you think he is?
He's white.
Okay. Do you know like what country he might come from or be associated with?
God, I have no idea. I don't know if I'm getting the answer or if I'm telling him the answer.
Oh, you can do it.
Well, okay, if you want me to guess, I feel like he's Italian, but he might be telling me that he's French.
I would go with the first guess.
Okay.
Is he telling you that he's French to make fun of it?
I don't know. He's showing me Brad.
Maybe that's what he looks like.
But he's also telling me, like, Italian mafia. Like, the Italian people in a mafia.
Very interesting.
But, I don't know which one is me saying it. Oh, you said he has a
big nose?
Yeah, he has a bigger nose.
What age does he look like? I'm really pushing you, but I know you can do it.
I know. I'm just about to tell you, age is not my thing. I have a hard time telling anyone's age. He is older than me, but younger than like 50s or 60s. So I would say he's like in his 40s.
How would you describe the shape of his face? Can you draw it? And you said he's in his 40s when you see him?
Yeah. But I'm
really
bad at age.
Can you ask him to tell you what he looked like when he was younger?
The taller man?
Mm-hmm.
How young? She's like, it doesn't matter.
How old was he when he did this?
Got it. This is like... his mid-20s, I feel like. Because he looks very different, but he's telling me as himself as 40s because he's more understanding of the situation. Which is why he made more mistakes when he was younger.
Is there a person from that 70s show that he would resemble?
Oh.
With hairstyle?
I mean, what's that guy's name? Kelso? There you go.
What else can you tell me about who died in the house?
There's 3 of them.
Is that just 3 that he wants to talk about? Or what is his association with talking about just the 3 girls? Is he talking about anyone in particular?
Well, there's a woman here. The woman has, like, curly hair. She has, like, her, I don't know if it's her bangs. Her bangs are, like, in a little poof. And then the bottom of her hair is curly. And it's, like, I would say blonde, but most people would say brown.
Mm-hmm. Like your color hair?
Yes.
Yeah. Brown.
Yes.
How old is she?
Younger than he is.
Mm-hmm.
She looks to be similar to my age, but a little older. She makes me feel like she is a child. I don't know if that's true, though. What do these people look like?
So I asked you if you looked like Kelso because that's him. That's Dawn, that's Allison, Mark, and John. Yeah,
That's
that
really
looks
crazy.
just like him, right? That's his dad. That's his mom. The one with the light brown hair that I thought you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mom speaks on half of the children.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's telling me about her children, but I didn't want to believe that there were children that were dead. So, do with that what you will.
So lots of other fictional and, like, I would say non-fictional but speculative stories have been written about this case because other people are not satisfied with the ruling. So Rick Osuna made a rendition of how he thinks the murder case or how the murder actually took place because he talks very flippantly and poignantly about how the case was just so erroneously mishandled. So according to Rick's interviewing the family's neighbors and acquaintances, they described the domestic horrors of the family, and they outlined that the father, Ronald DeFeo Sr., was extremely domestically abusive to the family, including his wife and children. According to Rick's interview of the family and his neighbors, Louise's father was named Michael Brigante Sr., and he was an associate of the Gambino crime family boss Carlo Gambino, a part of the Italian mafia.
Oh, okay.
According to Butch, who worked alongside his father at his grandfather's dealership, and his grandfather was a part of the Italian mafia, they were familiar with disposing of bodies on behalf of the mafia.
Skilled.
Although it never said in any of the things that I could find in my limited research that they were directly associated with the mafia. It's more like they did their bidding because if they didn't, it would be bad for them. However, Rick, the author of this book, doesn't believe the mafia killed him because killing children is against the code of the Italian mafia. Now, in Rick's rendering of the November 12th witching hour events, the horrors took place after a violent argument Ronald Sr. had with his wife and his children. And I put physically harmful, as well as emotionally, because arguments are emotionally harmful as well. And Dawn, the oldest sister of 18, tried to defend herself with a knife for the fear of her life, and she persuaded her older brother Butch to kill Senior during the night, which is his father.
Mm-hmm.
She encourages the same fate to Butch for her mother, countering that even though their mother is a victim of the same domestic violence that their father gives out to the whole family, but their mother is, quote, beyond hope, as she was unconditionally faithful and always at her father's side, their father's side, regardless of the domestic abuse that he unleashed on the family. So, Senior and Louise were killed. And so Butch instructs Dawn to watch their siblings in their bedrooms while he's gone. But according to Rick's rendering of the events that took place on November 12th, 1974.
Did it all happen on the same day?
Mm-hmm.
He makes me feel like he didn't do all of them.
Okay.
But he says it's more complex than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like he's the one that was in charge of it.
Is it because he feels like he was the one in charge of it? Or was it more like circumstantial?
Well, yes. He's put in charge of it because he's the one that knows how to get away with it. He's the analytical one.
Did it go according to the plan that he wanted?
No, because of this dumb guy. He's like, if I did it all myself, no one would have any idea.
Who's the dumb guy? The detective?
No. He's shorter. He's bigger built. He has brown hair as well, but he doesn't look like this man.
What does that one look like? The other man.
He's not as put together. This man, his hair is more wavy than this guy. Or at least he made his hair not wavy. And this man, his features are more round, where this man, well, okay, shorter man has rounder features. Like his nose is round at the bottom, so like if this was like up here, there's a round part here. And his face is more square but like round on the edges, whereas the taller man is very angular. His face is thin and angular. This taller man, Kelso, he thinks very little of this man. Which is why he came forward and didn't tell me about him. Because he was the mistake. He's showing me like, well, they show me like, you have like a group of mafia guys, right? And you have like the mafia like leader dude. And then you for some reason have this like younger brother of this mafia leader dude. But he's so incompetent that you're unsure of why he's even there.
You mean a lackey?
Yeah.
Butch's friend, Bobby Keskley, kills Senior and Louise. Dawn argues that they can't leave witnesses, and that it would be bad to leave the siblings with such trauma. So while Butch and supposedly Bobby Keskley goes to kill the parents, she kills the siblings while they sleep. Butch was horrified that Dawn killed the siblings while he and someone else went to go kill his parents, because she said, make sure the kids are fine while we go do this and then we'll leave. She kills the children because she's like, there can't be witnesses and it would be rude and harmful to leave them without parents. And kills
They're
them.
showing me Sasuke and Itachi. They didn't kill Sasuke because they just couldn't bear it. Does that make sense? Did they all get killed? Okay.
So when Butch returns, he's horrified that Dawn killed all of his siblings and becomes the sole surviving member of his family as he kills Dawn in retribution for killing the siblings. But according to his initial story that he told police, he's like, I came home, saw that my parents were dead, so I ran to the nearest bar, found my friends, they came back with us, and then we found out that the whole family was dead. Every single person was found after Ronald called the police with his friends being present. The cops found every single member of their family except for Butch, dead in their bed with a gunshot wound to the back. He was convicted based off of that story and other associated evidence for being the sole killer of every member of his family by a single gun They're telling me that's not true, and I know it's not, but. So Rick comes in with his analogy in his book, which is, that's not what happened. They weren't a super happy family. And how is it that one person can kill an entire family with the type of gun that they had, which was the 35 millimeter Marlin rifle? So how is it that you kill 6 people in their beds without everyone else waking up single-handedly? He's like, this does not add up. It is not physically possible for someone else, like for one person to do this. So that's why he wrote his book, reanalyzing the evidence to hypothesize what he thinks actually happened. There are crime case discrepancies. So there are blood stains in crime scene photos that can be seen in places that do not add up with the story that the family were all killed in their beds. They're like, if they were all killed in their beds, there should not be blood stains like in the foyer.
Well, yeah.
What's up with that? According to the report is that no one had been moved out of their beds. Everyone had been killed in their beds in the same position. And I guess there was a secondary autopsy or some sort of report that was able to say oppositely that yes, the bodies had been moved, and that is not the position in which they died in. It's just that they were moved like super fast after they were killed. There was a discovery of a bullet with a different caliber than the Marlin rifle Butch discarded after the massacre. So apparently the Marlin rifle that he used was found in Louise and Richard's bedroom, so his parents' bedroom. That's where he left the gun that supposedly killed everyone in the whole house. In addition to there being a different caliber bullet used in the murders, police brutality was extremely high in the Amityville area for their police department during this time, and a confession from Butch is thought to have been brought about because of this. They had a confession rate of 95% compared to 35% at the time of the city of Bronx and 20% in the Brooklyn area. So they're like, we're quite sure that you beat a confession out of this guy, and that's why you got it, because once you confess to something, you cannot take it back.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So prosecutor and police also admitted many times during the case that the crime would have to require at least 3 people to carry it out, and another independent investigation by a retired police detective by the name of Herman Race concurred. However, when given specific information by independent retired police detective Herman Race, who was hired to cover the case differently, the judge ruled against multiple attempts from Herman and other legal people to submit further evidence, providing more evidence to help substantiate other factors of crime other than the eventual ruling that Butch was the lone killer. So they were like, it is impossible for one person to kill their entire family with the same gun that is a large caliber bullet without waking anybody else up, and like literally it was fine. I don't understand that. It's not possible. Literally police said that. And then every single time Herman Race, who I think is the person you're talking to,
Oh, that's a detective.
tried to submit substantial evidence in order to at least add the identification or like make the jury look for other suspects. He's like, because it's literally impossible for him to do this. We're not saying that he didn't not do it. We're just saying that he cannot physically be the only person that did it. And the judge was like, no. I think that it's also very necessary for other people to be involved in this murder. However, I don't want to take the time to listen to the evidence that you have. What? How is that allowed?
They're rich.
I don't understand it. More crime specifics. Like I said, Butch's original story was that he told cops he found his parents' bodies earlier in the evening when he stopped by the house, and then he ran in a panic and drove to the local bar for help to get his friends. He reportedly drove back to the house, and everyone discovered the bodies. The police were called from there. 9 shots total were fired from a 35 millimeter Marlin rifle, and test shots proved after firing the same type of gun at the house as like evidence, the shots could be heard 4 to 5 blocks away from the house. However, neighbors reported and testified that they only heard a dog barking during the night of the murder. They never heard a single gunshot. And the last crime discrepancy is that Dawn differed in death. She was killed most brutally, with her head being almost obliterated by a shotgun, and she had unburnt gunpowder on her nightgown, adding to the theory of her involvement, but there was no residue on her hands. What time do you think the house was built? What year, approximately?
Years are hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't show me the year. They show me what the year looked like, but I have no context of what years it looked like.
Did they have electricity?
I don't know.
It's okay. Don't be pressured by the question.
My guess is like 1920s, but they're telling me that that's close.
Yeah. 1924.
Yeah. Because
So,
everything's in black and white.
do you see anything related to the land before the house was built or during the house was built? Just related to the land, not the house. The land. Ask the land itself. Ask one of the trees. Ask the sky.
It's not a person that was there? Like people that are here? Does it predate people itself? Because there's a man that's here. But I don't believe he's here. So.
Nope, that sounds correct.
Okay.
What does the man look like?
He looks tribal.
Okay. And what is his demeanor?
In charge.
Tribal as in Native American tribal, or tribal as in like before Native American tribal? Like
He's
before?
telling me I wouldn't know what that looked like, so he's showing me tribal as in Native American, but that's not what he is. I don't know what that means.
Like he was higher up in Native American things?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know that he's a Native American.
And how does
That's
he...
what he's showing me because that's what I see or I know.
That's okay. And how does he feel about everything that's going on? Past, present, future. Or past, I should say. How does he just feel about the land, the house? What's his general feeling regarding the whole situation of this land? What would you describe his demeanor as? His personality?
It's not a good place.
What is his influence or purpose for the land? Is he angry? Is he happy? Is he sad? Does he tell jokes? Is he good at stand-up? Does he make a mean casserole?
He tries to protect it. But he does it in a hey by spirit type of way.
Why does he protect it?
They show me the elephant graveyard in the Lion King movie.
Was it a burial ground for other Native Americans? Because when you started drawing these little swooshy things, I thought you were drawing like Indian burial mounds.
Yeah.
So it's like sacred to his people.
Yeah. But it's also like people made it dark. Because they're showing me the elephant graveyard from The Lion King. And it's not a bad place because of the elephants. It's a bad place because the hyenas came and made it scary. Because they hide in the things and then...
And who are the hyenas in his viewpoint?
The white men.
So,
Okay.
very last part is PsycKicks and Lorraine Warren claims. So, several psychics, including the late Lorraine Warren, were invited to the house to conduct an investigation. They claimed an Indian chief was buried where the house now stood, and that he sought his revenge by getting any men living in the home to do terrible things. Butch DeFeo was interviewed by Holzer, and he's quoted saying, he heard strange noises and different things at night, starting on his very night in the house, saying, and this is Butch saying to an interviewer, you felt as though somebody may have been walking around, pipes banging, all these strange noises. And he added, in fact, everybody thought that there was somebody in there the week that we moved in. Sometimes the family could hear people screaming, DeFeo told Holzer, even though no rational source of the sound was ever discovered. A painting was moved from one floor to another, but everyone in the family denied that they had done it. He said that his parents believed that the devil was in the house and that the reason for the extreme amount of religious idolatry on the grounds. So DeFeo in particular said that he felt tormented by whatever was happening in the house, and when he was younger he ran away several times, warning his father that he feared he would kill everyone in the house if he wasn't allowed to leave. According to news reports during the trial, DeFeo's attorney argued that Butch killed his family because, quote, the voices in the home had convinced him to do it. Now, the original court ruling made in 1975 did not make explicit mention of any malignant spirits, but it did consider the theory plausible. That was for dramatic effect.
Okay.
Because then that's going to segue into next week's part 2, or whenever the next part 2 is going to happen. It's a wild case. I definitely did not know that much about it, because again, the thing that I listened to focused on the paranormal aspects of it, but I feel like... I mean, you even hit on the Indian thing. I don't even know about that shit. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Because when I heard that...
man.
Well, I read the one part where it was like, the speculation of, you know, Butch heard voices and the voices made him do it. I was like, did he have like schizophrenia or something? Like, I don't know, because usually that's like when it starts to pop up is in your 20s.
Yeah, no, there's a really scary thing in the house. It's not the Indian person though.
Yeah. Do you think that that thing got there before the murders or after the murders? Because the Indian guy has been there before the murders.
Before.
Interesting.
The murders made it worse.
Well, yeah.
The people in the house made it worse.
Well, yeah, because if there was a lot of abuse,
Yeah, it's not the Indian man. There's a thing in this, like, room. There's a lot of floors, so I can't tell you what floor it's on, but it's on one of the lower floors.
Is it in the main house, or is there another spot on the property it could be located that would look like a house to you?
It's in a room, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in the house. Because I see... I don't know, they tell me it's like black and white, but I don't know if I believe that. And then they make it seem like everything is red and the door slams shut. Like I'm not supposed to know about it.
Oh, you also said that there was a lake behind the freaking property. There's a boathouse attached to the property. So there's the big giant colonial house that's situated this way on like a rectangular piece of land, and then the driveway goes back here, and then right here there's like this big giant rectangular barn looking thing that actually sits in the water and is like a water garage for boats. And then there's the lake right there. Makes me uncomfortable that you knew all of those things. So if you guys want to know about the paranormal things, because if you didn't understand or you've never heard of the Amityville Horror, somebody bought this house after this event happened. And it was literally like, I think it was 13 months after this horrific event happened, the Lutz family decided to move in.
Oh my god, did someone get possessed or like kind of possessed?
I don't know, I guess we'll have to find out in part 2.
So if you guys are interested in that content, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
We are your PsycKicks. We'll just have to go into the story because you've hit a lot of really good points, but I think it's jumbled for you because one, you've never done this before, and two, there's a lot of like...
Because I get flashes. I don't know if you see the entire like movie. I see flashes. And they're...
Oh, they might be showing you flashes of parts of movies too, because there was movies based off of this murder. So if someone else has a rendition of a movie, they might be trying to show you that, which is why it's not correct, because it's someone else's interpretation of the movie, because spirits might do that, especially if they don't want us to figure it out.